Yeah.
Yes, he hasn't done sports since like McGuire stuff.
Yeah, well,
I have
before,
to reintroduce myself to him every single time, even though I've met him like 20 times. It's me.
It's Brooke.
It's me. I'm back. I won't.
Why do you take off Tuesdays? Why don't you take off Fridays or Mondays?
Well, that's the day that the doctor likes to schedule me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're in the final stretch here of where it's every single Tuesday at this point. So I will be out every single Tuesday. So if you don't like seeing my face, my puffy face, then just
And
tune
there
in
are
on
people-
Tuesdays.
There are people that feel that way.
Just tune in on Tuesdays. We'll never let this go. If you didn't see the saga on X last night, somebody took a shot at it was at first at Randy's take. But there's been this ongoing theme of like where somebody doesn't like something maybe that we discuss, and then they don't say anything about me, and then they just all of a sudden talk about my face, and then I'm like, I have to remind you, I am pregnant. Like everything is puffy. I understand that nowadays we see a lot of people, especially celebrities, with fillers, and they have the puffy faces because of that. Some of us have puffy faces for other reasons. So, and not everybody's out here getting like fillers and Botox. I think that might be dangerous to do during pregnancy. Actually, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I would think so. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to avoid.
I think so. Yeah. One day you should just come in with like a
Botox,
puffier face
Oh, get
too.
the
Like we
lips
get the
done.
lips
The old
done, all
Angelina
that.
Jolie lips.
And just not even address it,
That'd be
all of
funny.
a sudden when you start doing reads for like a Metro spa, like Metro Med spa or something like that.
Great idea. Hey, it's the Randy Karraker Show on Sports Hub STL, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Brooke Grimsley is here. Matthew Rocchio is here. And I say it every time there is a game like this. The Blues, let's see, is there something that can fall off here? We've got this. So this is a Frozen 4 credential or something, okay?
Wow.
Here's what the Blues are doing with the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. The Blues are going to do, boom. They're pushing the Winnipeg Jets to the edge. And tonight, the Blues play in Winnie. We call Minnesota Minnie. Can we call Winnipeg Winnie?
I like that. I feel like that it's very hockey-ish to do that. They like
Winnie,
to add, Winnie A. They like to do like the Y's at the end of things. So yes, they're facing the Winnipeg Jets tonight, game 5. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the Canadian media is spiraling currently right now about the Winnipeg Jets. And it's very interesting because I don't know. I've kind of tuned into certain podcasts to see what they're saying about the Jets, how maybe they could recoup against the Blues. And the way that I've seen certain podcasters and even people who are in the international media, national media covering hockey, they talk about the Blues like the Blues didn't have a 12-game win streak going into this.
Well, they also inherently, for whatever reason, don't like Binnington. So the combination of a Canadian team losing to the goalie that they didn't think should have played for them in the Four Nations, spiraling is a good word. They are all a Twitter.
They are. They're spiraling, and Jordan Binnington, they just can't figure out, even though Jordan Binnington won in 2019, they want to make him out to be this crazy villain. And how in the world is Connor Hellebuck falling apart against Jordan Binnington and the Blues of all people? Yes, it's weird. And he also represented you in Team Canada and helped you win. I felt like that helped his narrative a little bit, but then people were so ready to jump back on the hatred of Jordan Binnington. Right. And I feel like the hatred, though, fuels Jordan Binnington.
He's just so great. And Jim Montgomery was asked yesterday about him, and he said he just brings swagger. He said, he's a guy that he'll just stand there in the crease, and his body language is great. And he'll just say, guys, I got it. Don't worry about it.
He's got it.
He's kind of like a a Chris Carpenter of goalies.
Oh,
You know,
I
he's
like
just
that.
he's got a level of toughness. Remember in 19, of course you do, when they won, I think it was Game 5 in Winnipeg, and he just skated off the ice.
Mhm.
He didn't allow anybody to come and greet him. He just skated off the ice and let him off the ice. Well, Binnington kind of leads the way. No Tyler Tucker tonight. Ryan Suter will return to the lineup, which is a good thing. Not that Tucker is out, but Suter is a great penalty killer. And I think the Blues have gotten into Hellebuck's head. I think this will be a different game than games 1 and 2. I really think the Blues know how to take it to Winnipeg, and I think Winnipeg is on their heels.
I think that, when you're looking at Connor Hellebuck, of course, there's definitely goals that you can put on him specifically. But on Blues Hub Weekly, I talked to Jamal about this, about if you pull Connor Hellebuck for Game 5, because I know that was another thing that Canadian media was talking about. It's like, oh, we got to get rid of Connor Hellebuck. You can't do that. He's a Vezina Trophy winner. You have to stick with your guy. And that he thinks that a lot of people are putting too much on Connor Hellebuck rather than the guys in front of him. How many times have we seen that before, even in the past with Jordan Binnington, where the guys in front of him weren't doing their job of blocking shots, making sure it was clear, where he has enough vision to see some of those high danger chances that are being thrown right at him. I thought this was interesting. In Game 3, the Blues allowed only 19 shots on goal and blocked 10. And then this past weekend on Sunday, they allowed 31 shots on goal and blocked another 20. So no matter how the Jets attack, the Blues are finding ways to shut them down. And of course, I think that goes back to what we're talking about with Connor Hellebuck. He has to do his job, but the other guys have to do their job too, and their part in front of him.
The Blues are talking about taking away his eyes, and and that's a big defense. They have to keep Blues out of the blue paint. It's got to be, if Winnipeg wants to compete the way the Blues are competing now, what Winnipeg has to do is play the Blues physical game, and they can't allow. It's kind of like games 1, especially Game 1, when the Blues didn't go to the crease, right? They were not in the paint, but now the Blues see that it works, and I'm interested to see if the big Winnipeg defense can keep the really going for it Blues out of that crease. I think that's going to be the key to the game tonight, to see how the big guys on Winnipeg react.
I think so. And also, eventually somebody's got to win a road game, right? And the Blues have the momentum. There has been some more time off in between. But when we talked to Jeremy Rutherford about this, I think that was a really good note that JR had, that this has actually been more beneficial for the Blues and that it's giving them more time to recruit. We've seen how physical of a series this has been between the Blues and the Jets. The amount of hits in just this series alone is incredible. Yeah. And so then you're giving these guys a little bit more time to recruit in between games, where they can be back to maybe not 100%. I don't think any guy out there is 100% at this point, but closer to 100%.
Yeah. And obviously it seems pretty clear to me, at least, with Robert Thomas not having practiced yet, getting maintenance days, he's bothered by something. Shen is bothered by something. And in a series like this is where losing a guy like Tyler Tucker can really hurt a hockey team, because the Blues really only have a couple of physical players, right? Tucker on the blue line and Shen up front, people that are really willing to pound somebody into the boards and have that ability to do so on a regular basis. And Tucker was that guy for the Blues. I don't know that if you look at the Blues blue line, now you've got really old players. I don't think the Blues have that defenseman that's going to do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, maybe you can get Suter in there a little bit.
He's in, but he's 40. I don't expect him to hit people.
Karraker's big enough, but then again,
big enough.
He did get injured not too long ago, so then I don't want too much from him. But you have guys who are stepping up, and I think that's what has been the difference so far that turned the page really in this series in favor of the Blues, is that you had guys willing to block shots, get back to what we saw after that Four Nations breaks of guys stepping up, many different guys stepping up. And maybe they're not the biggest, but they're willing to go in there, block some shots, and definitely be aggressive.
Right. And I think that's one of the things, if you're Winnipeg, that you have to look for your guys to do, is their defensemen are not making plays at all, and they need to.
Yeah, they do. Spencer Ben? Is that Ben? Benet? Spencer Benet. The Blues are scoring at will from the point.
To, Cafe Du Monde, by the way, in New Orleans?
No, I haven't been to New Orleans.
You've got to get to that.
I know it is a goal of mine because I love food, as we know, and so I need to go to New Orleans.
Such a cool like the location right there by the water. You're just walking around. They got this. They got the. You can sit down, or you can just go do the takeout window, which is what I did. Like they got this.
Oh, they have a takeout
They
window.
have a super
Nice.
efficient takeout window. Like and it's like all of those classic restaurants where it's like they're so like there's nothing better than a restaurant that is so famous and their food is so good that they do not have to kowtow to customers. And so like
No soup for you.
Yes, exactly. 100% great example, which they can be
Seinfeld
rude
reference, yes.
to people who are slowing things down. They can be rude to people who don't read the signage. Like their signs up, get in this line, have your cash ready, do this. And if you don't follow the rules, they're very much, everyone around you is just like, dude, let's go. This is a process. Everyone's in line. The line's been out the back the entire day. It will be the whole day. Let's get things done. I love not just the food there. I just love the efficiency of a place that's been around for like 140 years.
Yeah, they got to figure it out because they're super popular. I need to get
so
down
let's
there
to-
one day.
We should probably get to the chat that we got to.
Spencer Benet.
Sorry to throw us off the rails here.
No,
guys.
no. And we had some comments of already having food talk. Eventually, it always goes back to food. Spencer Benet, the Blues are scoring at will from the point of the goal. We are exploiting his weakness and blocking the vision. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we were talking about with Connor Hellebuyck. Of course, there's some goals that are definitely on him, but the way that they're able to really create more traffic in front of the net, that was something that Jim Montgomery was talking about, and something we saw after that Four Nations break that they were doing a great job of during that run, was that they were able to do that, create that traffic for the net. How many times have we heard, like, come on, where are those? Even you said it a million times. Where are those gritty,
Greasy
dirty
goals,
greasy,
yeah.
Yes, the greasy goals
Yeah.
right there.
Another, if we were shooting them off of them, there's Pionk. The Blues are getting greasy goals from Winnipeg. Thank you.
They are.
Yeah.
Yes.
In soccer, they call those own goals.
Oh, little soccer tidbit there. But yeah, I think it's great to see that the Blues are getting back to their game. Now, it's totally different tonight. Will they be able to do that against Winnipeg on the road? That's the big question.
And Winnipeg does get back one of their best players in Gabe Vilardi. So that'll be an issue for the Blues too, is Connor and Scheifele have been their only two guys that have really been offensive players. Vilardi had 27 goals, 34 assists during the regular season in 71 games. If he's reasonably healthy, he'll pose a threat that the Blues are going to have to deal with. So that's something to keep an eye on tonight. But I really like the Blues' chances. Their offensive zone possession time has been great. Their time in the crease has been great. They've done a great job of clearing out the crease in front of Jordan Binnington. Now, what Jim Montgomery said yesterday is, hey, our team has to bring our own juice tomorrow night. They're going to have to energize themselves because the crowd is going to be behind Winnipeg. But the key, as far as I'm concerned, is just score the first goal. Score the first goal, bring down the
Set the
volume in that
tone.
building a little bit, take the crowd out of it a little bit, and then all of a sudden you can just start rolling.
Because then it just snowballs of
Yeah.
what, okay, we're doing this all over again. Your point about that we've only really seen Connor and Scheifele, I think this was really interesting too. Out of the 10 goals the Jets have scored in this first round of the series, Connor and Scheifele have 5 of them.
Mhm.
And heading in the playoffs, this is a very well-rounded Jets group. Of course, you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but these are President Trophy winners. So this is a very talented group, but they haven't gotten that secondary scoring as much.
And maybe it'll come from Vilardi, but from the rest of their guys, like they're getting nothing. They have 1 goal from their defense. Neil Pionk had his goal out of the 10. The Blues are getting all kinds of great production from the defense. And so for Winnipeg, it's much more difficult to defend. And they aren't getting a lot of shots either. When you look at the shots that the Jets are getting, almost all of them are from the forward. So I think that the Blues are in really good shape in terms of style of play. I think Jim Montgomery's just and nothing against Scott Arniel, obviously President's Trophy winners, good coach. But I do think that Jim Montgomery, and I said this before they hired him, he's a difference maker. And there's a reason that the Blues are here and have a great chance. And it's because he is great at exploiting the opposition.
I even like the little gamesmanship things that he does,
Mhm.
because you even look back at that last game, he was really putting it out there. You saw Matthew Joseph practicing on the third line. It's a third line, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. And the coaches either way are prepared on the other side for whatever situation. But I just thought that was like a nice little gamemanship thing that he did, where he's like, oh yeah, we're going to, I feel like we're going to roll with Matthew Joseph here. And then who did you see out there getting ready right before the game? Texier. He put Texier back in there. So it was just small little gamemanship things like that to get into somebody's mind that I thought was really funny too. And, I going back to the Canadian media, I just want to point this out about Vilardi. the way that they would talk about Velarde and not having him, I understand that that is a loss for the Winnipeg Jets, but it's like they forgot about that the Blues are playing without Dylan Holloway, a guy who's accounted for a lot of goals this season for this team and was an important piece. And they really haven't talked about that much. I don't know if you remember before the game, I think that was that game 2 or game 3 where they're talking about the Blues being fully healthy against the Jets. And it's like, oh yeah, but you're missing a guy that's accounted for how many points?
26 goals.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. They're not fully healthy whatsoever. And Jimmy Snuggerud, him coming into the picture, that's been a game changer for this team too. The way that he's been able to progress every single game has been huge for him. He came in at the right time. Would I like to have seen him sooner? But of course, but the way that it's all worked out has really benefited the Blues.
Yeah, and this shows the depth that Doug Armstrong has put together. This organization has 5 defensemen that are within a couple of years of being able to come in here and play. We'll see Dvorsky next year. I thought Jim Montgomery, another thing that he said yesterday, talking about Sundqvist and Faksa and those are your 3 and 4 centers, and how much playoff hockey those guys have played. And we spent a lot of time before the series started talking about playoff experience. Well, I think those 2 on your fourth lines are huge parts of what the Blues are trying to do. Keith Adams, Winnipeg hasn't lost, but I've noticed teams treat the President's Cup like it's a curse. Yes, they do.
Yes.
And even when the Blues won it, they did. And you shouldn't, although the Blues were cursed for a long time. I think if you accomplish something like that, I think you should enjoy it. And I don't think hockey teams do. And
no,
Winnipeg
because of that curse.
Yeah, because they think, well, if you touch it, that you think you've accomplished everything you want to accomplish.
Do you think out of all of the athletes in pro sports that hockey players might be up there when it comes to the most superstitious?
Oh, they are, no doubt about it.
I know that's a tough competition because every single one of them has their quirks, whether you're looking at NFL players, Major League Baseball players, NHL. But the stories that I've heard around NHL players and just how superstitious, not just a little stitious, but very superstitious they are, I think they have to be up at the top.
Remember Joey Vitale's story about Sidney Crosby?
That is the craziest story. Just a quick recap for the people who haven't heard that story about Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, so Sidney Crosby, they went on a trip, right? He said, remember that trip we went on? Like before they won a game. And they win the game, happens the next day. And Crosby goes through this whole routine that takes minutes when he's with Joey. And every time they would get ready for the next game, Crosby would come back and repeat things verbatim, the exact same thing to Joey. Finally, like they get to 10 or 11 straight wins, and Joey goes in the bathroom, and Crosby is stalking him, trying to find him.
Can I just say the craziest thing about this story that I've never realized until now? A human being telling you the same story and doing it verbatim in the moment would be one of the most terrifying things I've ever like. I'll tell the same story, but I'll change like the delivery. Some facts will probably like get moved around. I'll add one in that I left out. Like it'll change. The fact that he's like confident that it was the same story every single time makes Sidney Crosby a true psychopath.
Yeah.
Well, and then doesn't he have the same jock strap that this is weird that I'm the one telling this story, but doesn't he have the same jock strap that he's had forever? Didn't Joey tell us that too?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
since his juniors. I think since his juniors.
Oh no. And how old is Sidney Crosby? He's up there in age. That's terrifying.
So Gretzky would have baby powder placed on his stick, and he would only tuck in one side of his jersey.
Really?
Yeah. Brendan Shanahan, if the Blues won when he was here, would take the same route to work the next time. But if they lost, every single time he would take a different route to work. Every time they lost, he would find a new route that he had never taken before.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
Well, I mean, if it works for him, then it works. And everybody has their quirks.
They don't. They never cross sticks. Well, in the Blues, and this is a Barclay Plager thing, the sweater never hits the floor. Remember when they used to have the Blue Note logo in the middle of the?
Oh my gosh!
The weirdest thing hockey
hockey
teams ever did was make a rule that you can't walk on the logo.
Yeah.
And then put their logo on the carpet.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
In locker rooms.
Yeah.
Weirdest thing in the world. I saw one club do it correctly, which is they did that, but then they like roped off the crest in the middle.
Yes.
Smart.
Okay, fine. That's at least a way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember, and when I was working in Nashville, that was my first experience of just how superstitious hockey
Mhm.
players were, because I remember that happening specifically. The Nashville Predators, they had that logo on the ground and a reporter accidentally walked on it. So it wasn't even intentional, just like happened to kind of like lose their step and then like step on it. And immediately one of the players, I can't remember who it was, but one of the players was like, you have to get out. You have to get out. The PR staff kicked him out.
Wow.
That's how strict they are about that stuff.
That's crazy.
And
isn't it?
and so then I was glad that when they finally put it up on ceilings and more
Yeah.
locker rooms, like finally, like
Yeah.
they did rope it off, to your point, Rockio, with that story. They actually roped it off after that.
Good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody got the boot.
They're serious about it. They're very
Yeah.
serious about it.
So I think one of the things the Blues need to do tonight, Matthew, wasn't one of your favorite players Derek Chivas? Were you a Derek Chivas guy?
I love Derek Chivas. Oh, absolutely.
Well, you remember his nickname?
Oh, no, I don't.
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid.
I think that Monty tonight, he got hit by a puck in practice yesterday.
Sorry,
And-
2003, Matt had one band-aided Missouri guy to focus on,
Uh-huh.
and I had chose Nelly.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I think that tonight they've got to get like a skull and crossbones Band-Aid for Monty to wear. or something mean. On the chat, tell us what would be like a mean looking. I don't know if they make Ogie Oglethorpe Band-Aids, but what would be a mean looking Band-Aid that Monty could wear tonight in Winnipeg behind the bench?
I think the standard looks pretty bad.
Mhm.
Too. I was about to
And it has the Nelly connection.
Yeah.
It's very
does.
deep St. Louis. And also, I think we got to like counteract the bad Nelly juju that was in Winnipeg for game one. And now you counteract it with Monty wearing the signature Nelly Band-Aid. That's how you
Okay.
cancel juju, people. That would have been the black salt inside Enterprise had you and Michelle needed to go all the
Oh, yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That would have been the black salt. This is the black salt. Monty's Band-Aid is what the Blues need to steal one.
Did you see too? So the Nelly thing we talked about, where he was wearing the Winnipeg Jets jersey. Then the Winnipeg Jets, before game 2, tweeted out a picture of Nikki Glazer wearing a Jets jersey. And I was really mad until I saw one comment where somebody said they don't have any celebrities. So this is the best they can do is try to glom on basically to St. Louis celebrities.
That's
I
true.
was like, well, that's true.
They got
this.
Joel Hofer.
Yeah.
Think about this. How many cities in the world can we dunk on for our airport? Winnipeg has got a lot going for it.
No, that's true. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
you don't even have your own airport, Winnipeg. Come on, get it together.
Yep. Wow, hang on. Winnipeg has Chris Jericho. He's a big time guy.
Yeah. Now I have to Google famous people from Winnipeg because I am
Good
not
luck with that. That's going to be a brief Winnipeg Wikipedia
famous
page.
people from Winnipeg. And I saw the comment too. Did you guys see what happened with the Toronto Maple Leafs last night, by the way?
Yeah. It's okay.
To be
be
famous,
fine.
people older than 15 have to know who you are. No offense, Chris Jericho.
Oh.
No, the funny thing is, everyone who knows who Chris Jericho is over 40 now. Joe Roderick. I'm close. Those are the people who actually watched him. Sorry, Wilson. You don't watch movies from the 80s, but you watch wrestlers from the 80s.
So Justin Bieber's father is from Winnipeg.
Oh, Biebs. Yeah, there you go.
So, but his father, so not Justin Bieber, but his father is from Winnipeg.
We're not counting that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. By the way, the Falcons have been fined $250,000. Jeff Ulbrich fined $100,000 in response to the prank call made by Ulbrich's son to Shedeur Sanders.
I think that's fair. There had to have been some sort of repercussion. I think it was good that they put out the statement, and you can't control your children whatsoever, but there needed to be some sort of repercussion for that.
I wonder if the 21-year-old will get grounded now, or maybe he'll have to pay back the $100,000.
Ooh,
Find a way.
take away from his frat money, Randy.
Oh, that could be it.
Did he
Yeah.
take away from his frat money? Oh no! Does he get kicked out of the frat? Maybe. I don't know.
He better not. So you were you were shocked by what Ottawa did to Toronto last night?
No, not really. You expect it from the Maple Leafs at this point,
But
aren't
that was
they?
Chief.
I know. Yeah, even with Chief there, and I feel bad for Chief, but there's something just with the Toronto Maple Leafs where this seems to happen every single time with them.
It kind of does. And they haven't won I don't think they've been to a final since like 1967.
And they have talent. I mean, did you see Austin Matthews too smashing his stick?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it feels like it's inevitable for them every single time. And maybe that's part of what it is that they even expect it at that point. And
Well,
it just
still-
manifests into that.
They're up 3-2 though, right?
Yeah. But then the way that they lost,
And two
I
of the
think
goals
that's,
were empty netters.
yeah. I think the way they lost is where it's like, Toronto fans losing their minds
Oh,
once
yeah.
again.
And-
They're probably calling for Berube today.
Oh,
What do you
probably,
think?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dylan Cousins, if you didn't see, scored a shorthanded goal midway through the third period. It was a 1-1 game, and that's how the Senators won it.
Ugh. Ellipsis 150 said, maybe the Jets can raise that banner. Justin Bieber's dad is from here.
Yeah.
The Biebs' dad.
I
You
think
can
that's
you
a
can
good
have
banner.
him go and try to wave a towel, something to get the rally going. What Rockyo?
I hope
You
the
don't
Blu-
like
I
it?
hope the Blues
Nashville's
win.
got a banner
we're,
like that.
we're feeling it today. I hope the Blues win this game for us. Because I know that all of you that are watching in Winnipeg are going to say these people. So I hope the Blues win just so that we don't have to come back and eat crow.
Also, while we're talking about other hockey games and reactions, I think if you go back and watch the Canes and Flames game from last night, it was hilarious because the Canes win on a game winner, and the Flames goaltender almost chucked his stick into the crowd. Then he snaps.
I saw that.
He snaps it off onto the net, and then with the still holding a piece, he has to stop himself from chucking the shard at one of his defensemen. And so I just think, as we're talking about the national reaction to the Blues, just remember, all goalies are crazy.
They all
are, not just the Blues. Just watch it again. He almost took out his own defenseman at the end of a game with the shard of a goalie's stick.
Yeah.
They're a little wacky.
And Carolina eliminates New Jersey in that one too.
Yes.
That was it was reminiscent of
Devils, not Flames.
yeah.
My bad. I don't know why I said Flames, Devils. My bad.
Eddie
Yeah,
Belfour in 1994 here when the Blues swept the Blackhawks. He broke it over a stick over the net too.
Goaltenders,
fun stuff.
yeah, they're just quirky.
Yeah,
they're
they
very
are.
quirky.
Yeah, they're all weird.
They're all weird. It's
And-
almost like pitchers. I think is that like a good comparison?
left-handed
There's
pitchers,
something there's something a little off about them, but it works for them.
Yeah, it does. And see, there are some pitchers though that are pretty reasonably normal.
Yeah.
But lefties are always kind of weird. Even
What do you
like-
think it is about
I-
lefties? Because
I-
they're already unique in the first place.
There you go. We are unique, aren't we? We're special.
I forgot that.
That's- my
aren't
mom
you
always my mom always told me I was special.
aren't you amphibious? I'm
I
just
am.
joking.
I'm
Ambidextrous.
yeah,
I just want to say
no,
amphibious.
I'm amphibious. Yeah.
Aren't you amphibious?
Yeah. So I write and eat left-handed, but everything else I do pretty much right-handed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because
You've
when I
always
was-
done that, or did you want to
No,
stand out
like
when you were
I was
younger?
in like first or second grade, the teacher came to me and said, and this is obviously I'm a lot older than you guys are, and the teacher comes and says, Randy, we live in a right-handed world, and you're going to have to be right-handed. They didn't have left-handed scissors. They didn't have left-handed
What?
stuff then.
My dad,
Mm.
born in the late 50s,
Mhm.
just to kind of give you a scope of time, he was still getting his hands smacked when he was
There
in
you go.
grade school because
See?
he was a lefty.
Yep.
And-
They
and
didn't like uniqueness back then.
The nun would walk by and with the ruler and
Oh yeah. I was just told
Catch you quick?
that I wouldn't be special unless
Unless you fit it with everybody
Unless I
else.
fit in with
Unless you
everybody being
conformed
right-handed, yeah.
to the rest
So-
of
And
now
society.
the
I
lefties
started
are
throwing
taking over.
right-handed, started golfing right-handed. Well, I didn't golf when I was in second grade, but I started throwing right-handed. So the only things I do now left-handed, I should sue the school district, by the way. The only things I do left-handed are write and eat.
Did you play baseball when you were younger?
Yeah, but they screwed me up because I was left-handed.
I know. I was going to say that you could have
Wow, they
been a
cost you a
great
lot.
lefty
I
pitcher.
could have been
Wait,
Jesse
so you-
Roscoe.
you write left-handed.
I do.
I have always felt kind of sorry for people who write left-handed because there was the point in the 90s and 2000s when like pens took over.
Mhm.
And how
Oh.
often was your like the
Yep,
bottom of your
the bottom
hand
of your
just
hand. Yep.
black or blue?
Yep. Well, and if you had like a spiral notebook, you're
Oh.
writing and your hand is right on top of the wire. So your hand has all these wire indentations too. We're going to talk Cardinals. John Denton from is John with us now? the great John Denton. We're trying to make him. We're efforting John Denton as a regular here. I'll tell you on the air, John. We are efforting that. So I just want you to know
we are
appreciate
efforting
it.
that because
Yeah.
John Denton is great. He also sent me. He got to. You see, John, everywhere he goes, he plays pickleball. And he wasn't able to play because of this doubleheader that we have going on. And
Well,
Cincinnati
it rained out yesterday.
Yeah, and Cincinnati, they have a great pickleball setup. Oh, and there's John Denton of MLB.com right there. John, you sent me a gorgeous picture of the pickleball courts they have in Cincy, and you don't even get to enjoy them.
Yeah, they had a great scene yesterday. I was out there for like 3 hours, Brooke, and I got to let you know my knees are feeling it still today. Maybe a good thing I'm not playing today.
Any drop shots that you were able to accomplish out there?
You can ask Chip Carey. I'm kind of known for that. I'm 6'5", but I do play the finesse game from time to time as well. Hey, Randy,
John, this would have required. Go ahead,
Randy. One thing you might need to know: in San Francisco, they have a left-hander store, and I went in there. I bought my daughter a right-handed notebook, right-handed scissors, things like that. So you may need to visit the left-hander store at some point.
Yeah, I will. That's a good call. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Cardinals, and this might be really unfair, but what I was thinking last night, and you guys knew reasonably early yesterday that the game was going to be rained out, right? Like,
Yeah. They announced it long before the game.
Yeah, so I was thinking because Gordon Graceffo is on schedule to pitch today, he's had 4 days of rest. I was wondering if it might be more valuable for the Cardinals to have Matz available in the bullpen today and tomorrow, 3 games in 2 days, and maybe start Graceffo. I know that there would be a lot of workmanship that would go into having Graceffo start the second game tonight, but it just seems like from a roster construction standpoint, starting him, and he had a great start his last time out, might have been a way to go. Unfair to suggest that possibility?
It makes sense, Randy, but Ali Marmol actually asked him this question before the game. He thinks one of the reasons that Steven Matz has had success in this role where he's flopping back and forth is they've given him plenty of notice. They've told him, all right, you're going to be in the bullpen for the next 3 days, and then they give him the next 3 days to prepare to start so that he stays on a starter type routine. They think that's one of the reasons that he's been able to have success at both, because even though he's flipping and flopping, they've given him a set routine to follow.
Now, I know that offensively, you have an article out right now about how things have changed under Brant Brown, and we've seen some of that. But at the same time, especially at the DH position, the Cardinals are really lacking power or even much success there. Has Oli Marmol talked at all about the DH position and how he's trying to get the most out of the guys? And we've seen Alec Burleson, even his bat, like the power from it has been zapped. But has Oli talked at all about the DH position and how they're handling that with, a bunch of guys coming in and out?
Yeah, that's definitely a concern, Brooke. I mean, all you need to know about that is when Ivan Herrera went on the IL, he was a team leader in home runs. He's been on the IL for 3.5 weeks. He's still tied for the team lead in home runs. So, that's a big issue right now with Alec Burleson. They've actually set him down for 3 or 4 days, working on trying to, drive the baseball more. They want more doubles, more home runs out of him. They want the same out of Nolan Gorman, but he's got to make contact. Ollie did say when Gorman makes contact, it's usually doubles and home runs. He just needs to make more contact. And, one of the thoughts originally was maybe Herrera could return sooner as a DH instead of a catcher. But as Ollie pointed out today, he said, oh, great, that's all we need is another DH. I mean, they have a team full of DHs right now, to tell the truth. But they do need to get more protection out of them. I even asked this morning, Lars Nootbaar has been a huge hit at the top of the lineup, hitting in the leadoff spot. But he's a guy who can hit doubles and hit home runs. Has there been a temptation to move him down in the middle of the order? And Oli Marmol said right now they don't want to mess with him. They want to leave him right where he is. Leads the team in RBIs. He's tied for the team lead in home runs. He's got 5 doubles. So they want to leave him where he is. But they definitely need to find somebody who can drive the baseball more.
Speaking of which, Thomas Saggese being sent down, and I do understand because you have a lot of redundancy on this roster right now, the way that it's constructed, and there just wouldn't be enough at bats for Thomas Saggese, but he performed well, and you're talking about getting some production at the plate. Saggese was doing that. He had like a 3.41 average right before they sent him down. What did Ollie say about that decision of sending Thomas Saggese down? And is this more just about making sure they can continue to evaluate Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, those guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's just not going to get enough playing time. Like we all know, Mason Wynn wants to play every game. He wants to play every game, both games today. There's just not enough at bats for Saggese. And I know a lot of fans see the batting average, but there still is a learning curve there. If you think back to Saturday, there was a play where the ball was hit to left field. Saggese forgot to cover second. Like he's still a 23-year-old kid. He still needs to play every day. There's still a learning curve there. And yes, he did perform well while Mason was out. I think he had a hit in each of his first nine starts, but there's just not enough at bats. You know, if you're trying to get Gorman at bats, if you're trying to get Mason Wynn at bats and Jordan Walker at bats, somebody has to pay for that. And in this case, it's Thomas Saggese. Do I think Thomas Saggese will be back again at some point this season? Yes. But I mean, I know Cardinal fans are howling about this and they're very upset about it, but quite frankly, there are better options right now. Yes, he has a great batting average right now, but that's a small sample size. And for the guys that they stated that they want to play, you know, there's just not enough time for Saggese right now.
Hey, John, I wanted to refresh my memory about Jordan Walker's 2023. And we have a tendency to forget that because he came up August and September of that year, Walker in 185 at-bats over the course of those 2 months. He hits 286, 356 on base, 470 slug, 826 OPS, 7 homers, 18 extra base hits. That's in the last 2 months of the season. So we reasonably expected that he was going to really take off in 2024, and he didn't. And he does at times look helpless now, as he did last year. What has happened? Does he still have that ability that he showed actually throughout the entire season? Because that year, he's got a 787 OPS. He had 19 home runs, Walker did. Did the Nerdlux from Space Jam come and get his talent? What happened here?
Yeah, Randy, I think, you know, the way he finished 23 was one of the biggest reasons why everybody thought, okay, this kid's going to take off and fly in 24. Yeah, but it didn't happen. I mean, we have to remind ourselves, these are not robots. These are human beings. Not all growth is linear. Sometimes it's, you know, up, back 2 steps, up 2 steps. That's what happens with human beings. And, you know, there are times when Jordan's still, I'm a novice. I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat, but I can see that his front shoulder's flying open and he's pulling off the ball. And everybody has scouting reports on him now. They're going to throw him that low and away pitch until he proves he won't swing at it. He's got to lay off of that pitch. You know, Brent Brown has done a great job of getting these players, the other hitters, to work the counts deep and to not chase. So far, Jordan's still chasing. You know, he did stay on the ball Monday night, hit it back up through the middle. That was a good sign. Ali Marmol said that was his favorite at bat of Monday night, was Jordan staying on that ball. But, you know, the second you see that front shoulder flying out, pitchers see that too, and they're going to throw him low and away, and they're going to get him out every time.
What about Gorman? What appears to be the issue with him?
It's just, you know, the bat to ball skills. For some reason, he's a high strikeout guy. You know, when he hits the ball, it does damage, but you know, he has trouble getting to the high fastball. He's more of a low ball hitter, so they're going to throw him high fastballs until he can prove that he can foul that pitch off or he can hit it deep. So he just has to find a way. He is a little better. Like, what was he, 37.5 last season strikeout rate. He's at 30% now. You know, Cardinal fans are just going to have to realize there are going to be games where he has 3 strikeouts in a game, but there's also going to be games where he hits a home run and 2 doubles. You know, he's never going to win a batting title. He's probably never going to hit 300, but you hope he can get this figured out enough that he can hit 25, 30 home runs someday.
What have you heard from Ollie and the coaching staff about Gorman and with Walker? Do you hear any panic from them? Because I'm sure you've seen on social media where people say, all right, we got to send Gorman down. We got to send Walker down. It's not working. We got to figure out what else is next. But it seemed like this is the season where if you're going to let guys work through adversity, they're planning on doing that. Is that the case still with Ollie and his coaching staff where they're saying, we're just going to stick with these guys. We're not going to be in a quick rush unless there's an injury to sit them down?
Yeah. I mean, this is what Runway looks like, Brooke. I mean, it's painful. It's hard to watch sometimes, but you have to give these kids, you know, chances to fail. You can't jerk them out the second they go 0 for 4. You don't want them looking over their shoulder. You don't want them to have to worry about being shipped down to Memphis. I mean, he's trying as hard as he can and just not working yet. But if you're going to promise runway, you've got to give them runway. And I think back to, remember last Thursday's game or last Wednesday's game in Atlanta, when the bullpen blew it and everybody blamed Ryan Fernandez. Well, the difference in that game was in the top of the ninth, Jordan Walker got a terrible slider right on his hands that he should have hit for 500 feet. He swung and missed. Ryan Fernandez threw a terrible slider and they got hit for a home run. Everybody blamed the bullpen, but the offense scored one run that day. And those two sliders were the difference in that game. And, that was a pitch that Jordan Walker has to hit for, he has to hit that for a double at least, or 500 feet into the stands for a home run. But that was the difference in that game. And it kind of got glossed over. Everybody blamed the bullpen, but that's an instance where the offense and maybe even Jordan Walker should have been in blame.
Ivan Herrera is starting his rehab assignment. I believe I saw that he will be DHing here soon. Is that the case?
Yeah, Brooke, he's leaving for Memphis today. He did all his running progressions at Busch Stadium yesterday. He's going to be in Memphis tonight to go through the pregame stuff. He's going to DH tomorrow for 5 innings, and then he's going to catch for 5 innings on Friday. So that's an encouraging sign. And like I mentioned earlier, when he went on the IL 3.5 weeks ago, he was leading the team in home runs. Guess what? He still leads the league in the team in home runs. So that's how much they really need to get his bat back in the lineup.
And the bat hasn't been the issue for him. It's just more that we have seen his arm being discussed, right? That has been the story with Ivan Herrera. Bat is great, but the arm has been an issue with him behind the plate. Have they talked at all about what the plans are about him being a catcher moving forward when he comes back? I know that obviously they're going to give him time to be a catcher. He is a catcher for this team, but we know that there has been some struggles there behind the plate for him.
Yeah, definite struggles there behind the plate. I think he threw out 5 of 59 runners last season. I don't think he's thrown out a runner this season. It's still an issue. He's been squatting behind the plate, testing out the knee, catching on the fastball machine. Been throwing the ball a lot to try to build up his arm, but it's an issue. I mean, we all can see that his future likely is not at catcher, but right now he's 24 years old. He's still going to get those reps. And like we mentioned earlier, this team has about 5 DHs already. So it's not like you can shoehorn him into the DH position right now unless you make a deal and alleviate some of that logjam.
John, 2 more things for me. Number 1, the Reds, the hottest team in the National League right now. They've won 5 in a row. I've always respected Terry Francona's ability to get a team to get better as the season goes along. And what do you like about Cincinnati?
Yeah, they're playing really good baseball right now. If you look at most of their offensive numbers, they're top 10 in baseball. They're pitching a little better. I mean, for years we've seen all these prospects, highly touted prospects, come up to Cincinnati and kind of level out. I know Cardinal fans think that St. Louis is the only place where that happens. It's happened for years in Cincinnati where a lot of their prospects haven't panned out. Tito Francona has gotten Ellie De La Cruz playing a little more under control. They're still waiting on Tyler Stevenson to come back, but getting Gavin Lux from the Dodgers, that was a huge pickup for them. He was a good hitter with the Dodgers. He had a 3-hit game on Monday night. He's been really good. Like you said, Tito Francona gets his guys to play the right way and they play hard for him. That's half the battle in professional sports. If you'll have a manager that players will run through a wall for, they're going to be better.
And then the last one from me, I kind of liked it when we had the double headers of where the games were 7 innings. I don't think that's a rule they should have changed back. I like this. Wouldn't you prefer today to have a couple of 7-inning games rather than 9-inning games?
Hey, that would work for me. I mean, when we had the doubleheader earlier this season in Boston, Randy, we were at the park for 14 hours and I was questioning my life choices there a little bit, So I love being at the ballpark, but man, 14 hours is kind of rough sometimes. My idea today was, hey, as soon as the 9th inning ends, 20 minutes later, start that next game and let's go. Play ball.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You got pickleball to play. That's the big thing. Pickleball to play. One last question I have. Obviously, road woes have been a big story for the Cardinals this season, 2-12 on the road right now. You're around this team on the road and at home. What is the difference other than just playing at Busch Stadium in front of your home crowd? What's not working for them necessarily on the road?
Well, I mean, Brooke, if you look at it, the batting average is like a 60-point difference between the road and home. The ERA is 3.5 points or 3.5 runs higher on the road as it is at home. The bullpen has been worse on the road and home. I think there's like 18 home runs they've given up on the road and 6 at Busch Stadium. So there's very tangible differences there. But one of the unintended consequences of quote unquote going young is young teams get their butts kicked on the road. Like, it's a reality of life. And look where they've been too. They've been to Fenway Park. They had to face that good Pirates pitching staff on the road. They went to New York. They went to Atlanta, and now Cincinnati. Like, that's some of the best teams in baseball right now, and some of the hardest venues to play when you're talking about Citi Field and you're talking about Fenway. So, when you're blowing this thing up and you're going young, it's just a fact of life. Young kids don't always play well in front of hostile crowds.
John Denton, we're loving your work as always at MLB.com, and we always appreciate when you join us on the show. Have a good one today, and then enjoy tomorrow, and safe travels. We'll see you this weekend at the ballpark.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for having me. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, John. That's John Denton. He is fantastic from MLB.com.
There is a difference definitely between the road and at home for the Cardinals. It's just weird that this is a continuation that we're seeing. And you even brought up that stat before about how they've performed the past 3 seasons on the road.
Yeah, they still have not had a winning season under Ollie Marmol on the road. And I do think the manager has a lot to do with that, Brooke. I think the demeanor of your team, the mentality of your team comes from the top. And there's a reason that Tony La Russa's teams were the most hated in baseball and were tough and would go on the road and win. And some teams are capable of doing that because of their leadership. Some teams aren't. And I don't think it's all Ollie. It's a really young team too.
It is
that has to find its way. But it does seem like at times like that, the nightcap in Boston, it just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, it does. It just feels like what's coming basically for them on the road, where it just does not swing their way whatsoever. So
we have Cardinals post-game twice today, right, Matthew? With the doubleheader, we'll have Cardinals Cards Hub 365 post-game after the opener that starts at 11:40, and then after the nightcap that starts at 5:40, and you'll have the opportunity to come and react to all of it right here on Sports Hub STL. Nothing like it, and it's brought to you by our friends at Gray Bar, and we'd love to have you as part of Cards Hub 365.
I wanted to mention one thing too. I thought it was a very interesting topic about Steven Matz, because I keep forgetting that he's going to be a part of the starting rotation again. That does concern me with the doubleheader in the bullpen. They are bringing up Gordon Graceffo as their 27th man, but I like Steven Matz so much in the bullpen, and he does deserve the opportunity to be in the starting rotation. That's what I'm torn on right now with him.
Well, here's my thing, and I am too, because I like him. I want him to do well. I want him to succeed. But you have Graceffo for one day, and you can start him. I don't care about Memphis. They shouldn't care about Memphis. Graceffo was terrific his last time out. You have Matz tomorrow as well. So if you get if you get a performance out of Michaelis that doesn't require the use of Graceffo, and then you get a performance out of Graceffo or Matz tonight that doesn't require Graceffo, then you've wasted that roster spot for the day. You can take advantage of having an extra player for a day if you know you're going to start Graceffo in the game, and then if it doesn't work out for him, then you pitch Matz.
It seems like they want to make sure they promised Matz that he would get a starting role, and they're trying to stick by their word.
I think it's very important for them to be liked by their players.
It's tough because he does deserve it. If he's doing everything and he's being a great teammate of working the bullpen for you, even pushing back his start before, then you should reward players for that. But at the same time, this team desperately needs a good bullpen arm, and Steven Matz has been that guy.
Right, and I think that sometimes, and granted, I say it every day, they don't care about winning this year. Winning is not a thing. I'm not talking about winning. I'm talking about getting an opportunity to evaluate a young pitcher like Gordon Graceffo. They already know what they have in Steven Matz, and they know what they're going to get out of Steven Matz, and hopefully they're able to trade him. I just think that it makes more sense for them. It's just from a baseball perspective, from every angle, I think it makes sense to start Gordon Graceffo today because you only have him for the one day.
Yeah. Should we do Grim Report now?
The Grim Report.
Grim Report.
But I also want to, no, we already did. We promoted the Cards Hub 365 twice today.
If you want to promote something else, you can go right ahead. You can do newsletter. You can do DraftKings. You can do whatever you want, Randy. It's your show. It is called The Randy Karraker Show.
Oh, it is. You know what? Well, here, look, we've even got DraftKings copy right here so that you can participate in DraftKings Pick 6. Use the promo code STL Sports when you download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, and you can pick 6. You can pick up to 6 different things, higher or lower. Baseball season is here, and you can use pick 6 as your fastball right down the middle that you can hit out of the park. The easiest way to play for cash and take a shot at a big win. If you pick 2 or more players and they finish with higher or lower of a stat and you get them right, you can get big money out of it. Pick 6 available in most states, including Missouri and California, Texas and Georgia and more. And if you know your baseball, cash in on that knowledge. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just $5 of entries. That is DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. All right, now it's time for
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Now hold on. That pick 6, Randy, yesterday, yes. I gave a basketball one.
Yes.
We hit 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, Nikola Jokic, he only had about 15 points, had a triple-double, went for like 15, 12, and 10. But Jamal Murray took the scoring onus on him for the Nuggets. So we didn't get that one, but I got another one for you today. Okay. Right now they're offering a promo play for more than 20.5 points on Curry. So that's a gimme. We're going to go Anthony Edwards, more than 4.5 3-pointers made because he's the best step-back 3-point shooter in the NBA this season. And we're going to go LeBron James, more than 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists because in a potential elimination game, King James is not going to go down quietly. He is going to go down, though, to future MVP Anthony Edwards, but he's not going to go down quietly.
So
that's
Lakers
my pick 6.
Are eliminated tonight?
I think the Lakers are going to get eliminated tonight, but I also I'm biased because I have right now a $50 wager with our good friend Kerry Davis that Anthony Davis wins Anthony Edwards wins a regular season MVP within a 5-year window of when we made this wager before this season. So I'm all on Anthony Edwards, and he's killing it. He's talking crap to LeBron. He's D'ing him up. He's hitting step back threes. I'm all about the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards right now.
All right. I love it. Good deal. Now it's time for the Grim Report.
The Grim Report. So we have this video that came out the other day where there was an interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Does everybody know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is?
Yes. Hamilton.
I'm not throwing away my shot.
What did you say?
That's the famous song.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear fully what you had said.
He wants to be in the room where it happens.
Oh, are you?
Thank you.
Good job, Randy.
Done, Randy. I see.
So there was an interview where Jennifer Mercedes was interviewing Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he dropped some major news. There is a Molina Brothers movie in the works.
Working on.
So if you could write a play or produce a movie about any athlete, who would it be?
Oh, well, honestly, we are on. I'm working on. I'll tell you something I'm working on, which is the Molina brothers, who are from my dad's hometown of Vega Alta, Puerto Rico. Vega Alta is home to like an appalling number of Major League Baseball players, not just the Molina brothers, Bernie Williams. It's really incredible. So to be able to honor that in a movie is something we're really actively trying to do.
Like some of the greatest athletes, Yadier Molina, one of the greatest catchers.
Yeah, we claim them. We claim them for Vega Alta. I mean, I think every time I'm at bat, every time I'm at my piano or at my computer, I'm trying to get us up on stage. I'm trying to write great parts that I would want to play, and so in turn, create a lot of wonderful roles for Latino actors.
It's so cool to see that. Now, I know that there was some people commenting because it is Lin-Manuel Miranda, and maybe it would be a musical. I don't have an issue with it being a musical.
Neither.
If it's like a musical movie, it wouldn't bother me either way. I know that some people aren't big fans of it, but I feel like if you know the Molinas, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Benji loves music, loves dancing. I think it would make a lot of sense where if you incorporate that into the movie in a musical way.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think so. This is just really cool to see. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I actually texted with Benji last night, and he is willing to come on and talk with us soon, not only about the Cardinals, but also about the movie.
It's funny because I also, as soon as I saw it, sent an email to Lin-Manuel's press people, and we are on the list to receive information about this project when they start announcing it.
Nice.
It sounds like they're pretty early in the process, and I didn't let them know that we have an inside to one of the 3 stars of the movie in Benji. And so, but I'm excited to see what Benji has from his perspective.
Yeah, I had no idea that this was in the works. I had no idea that this was something that could actually be a possibility.
I wonder how deep this is going. Like, when was the first phone call between Benji and Lin-Manuel Miranda? That's what I want to know now.
Yeah, or even Yachty or their brother Jose. But I saw that the connection, and he's talking about baseball and how connected they are in Puerto Rico, especially where he's from in Puerto Rico. So Lin-Manuel Miranda, his cousin, is Twins infielder Jose Miranda.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So maybe that's part of the connection here too, where obviously baseball has been a huge part of his culture and his upbringing, and now he's able to incorporate that into the movie with the Molina brothers.
That'd be fantastic. I can't wait to see it. And Lin-Manuel Miranda is incredibly talented. He's a great writer, great producer, and everything he touches seems to turn to gold. So I think it'd be really cool to get the word of the Molina brothers out there for people that ordinarily wouldn't know about them.
Yeah, I feel like they should. Their whole story is just so interesting with their upbringing and what it was like, how close their family is. Obviously, we know how close the brothers are, but even how big of a part their mother has been a part of things behind the scenes, and father. Ray said, Yachty just called. He wants to direct the movie.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Oh, man. He could add that to his list of accomplishments. Yachty has done a lot. Basketball, owning a basketball team. He did sell it, but owning a basketball team.
Managing Puerto Rico.
Yeah, managing Puerto Rico. Now helping his son get ready for his career as a catcher, too.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, by the way, because I have friends that desperately want Yadier Molina to be the Cardinals manager. Why did he go to Austin rather than St. Louis? We turn out great baseball players here.
I don't know. Maybe just specifically wanted to work with that area or that team specifically.
That might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like for as much as he loves St. Louis, it might not be a bad idea to.
You just want to get Yachty back in the building so he can have these catchers. So that's what's going on.
That's totally it. Yeah. Come on, Austin, Texas isn't going to help as much as St. Louis.
It's not going to help St. Louis, that's for sure. Duvey says that sounds absolutely awful. Molina Brothers musical movie. I think it sounds great.
Well,
what's wrong with that?
I got to tell you, I would have never gone and seen Hamilton, but Hamilton was sensational. I've seen it like 5 times.
Really? Like in person?
I've seen it in person 3 times, but then I've watched the movie a couple times. I bought Disney Plus because of Hamilton.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because of Hamilton.
Yeah. But now I still have it.
Clearly. I'm not a big musical person. Like
I'm
not big into musicals, but I will watch this specifically. This could be Ben says Austin and Nashville are the hot places rich people are moving to. No state income tax will do that.
Well, that will, but I mean, he's got enough money.
He does. And Puerto Rico, it's definitely different too, tax wise.
Yeah, right. So one time I went to the musical Phantom. Very dark, by the way, in the theater. I had an awesome nap.
I fell asleep during that too, because I remember my dad took me to Phantom of the Opera, and we both fell asleep.
There you go. So
it's just too dark in there. It's too dark in there.
And then there's a ton of quiet periods during the course of that musical.
I just like the idea of potentially like getting like a day where they're shooting something down at like Busch Stadium or something like that. St. Louis being involved in movie shoots is always really cool. Remember when Up in the Air was here?
Yeah,
that was a huge deal over Atlanta.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Also, speaking of that, I learned earlier this week that there were a huge chunk of scenes in the movie Escape from New York that were shot here in St. Louis.
Oh, that makes sense. Wasn't aware of that either.
Escape from New York, by the way, if you guys don't know, the greatest climax in movie history when a guy has to hit 3 half-court shots before he is executed.
Oh.
Which is one of the greatest sports related
Does he have to hit him
climaxes
in a
to
row?
movie of all time. Yes, within another time frame, and it ends with him having to chuck one from full court, or else he'll be executed. He hits it. Don't worry, he hits it. We're all good.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the most
insane.
insane, climax of a movies in film history, because that's just what movies were in the 80s and 90s.
Jason Gordon points out that Yachty's son is being recruited by University of Texas. 2 words: Ryan Wingo. You can be from St. Louis and be recruited by Texas and go there. You're allowed.
You're allowed. Yes, you are allowed. I get that. I want Yachty here, though. I think that's what we all want to see. We want to see Yachty here in St. Louis.
Hey, there's Hockey Dad Don.
Yes.
The newer Star Trek movies were shot at Budweiser using their tanks. I had no idea.
What?
I'm guessing what he's talking about in at least 2 of the 3 Star Trek movies. There are.
I like that big furry character.
At least in 2,
The big furry
at least in
character.
2 of the 3 of the J.J. Abrams trilogy, there are huge shots inside of the Enterprise where, I guess it would make sense that it looks kind of like the interior of the brewery. Holy crap. It's one of those things where you don't, when you're watching it, it's a Star Trek movie. You buy into that's the inside of a ship, but now you're telling me like the tankers and like the pipes and everything I can now see how the inside of the Enterprise is Budweiser. Holy crap. That's a great
Star
job there,
Wars?
Hockey Dad Don.
Me?
Are you thinking of Star Wars? You said the big furry character.
Yeah, Chewie.
Yeah, he does this. He calls Star Wars Star Trek. He starts Star Trek Star Wars. It's why I hate talking about Star Wars when I'm on a show with Randy, because he does it every single time. I'm pretty sure if it's not a Chewbacca joke, he talks about how it's like I love when Harrison Ford played Spock or some asinine comment like that.
What is that, jerky?
No. No, I thought you were being.
Here in the Far Wars.
Oh my gosh. No. All right. For overarching, we have some more stuff to discuss too, unless there's a comment you wanted to get to, Randy.
Matthew is laughing.
Yeah, but that's a low bar.
There was something there, though, that you liked, right?
What is it? I didn't see it. Am I missing this? I did see Ellipsis 150 say, I know that's largely why Netflix, the show Ozark was not filmed down at Lake of the Ozarks. It was filmed some lake in Georgia. There's 2 shows recently, Ozarks, and then there was another one that literally has St. Louis in the name that they couldn't shoot here because there wasn't tax credits given or something.
And Georgia
like
has a ton of movies filmed in Georgia.
If you have a show named after St. Louis, I would hope that local politicians would work with you to make sure that you could actually film it here.
And state politicians. I mean, that should be
state
easy.
politicians.
I know you weren't saying this, but we brought up Nikki Glaser earlier, and I'm like imagining, it's so bad that documentary not even filmed in Kirkwood. They had to go to Illinois to do it.
That'd be so crazy.
All right, overarching. So a couple of things happening. Bill Belichick and the Halliburtons are a little bit crazy. So I think we should start with NBA first, because if you were able to see a little bit of that last night, it was a little crazy. Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Oh yeah.
What in the world was going on with his dad? So we have the video of the incident that took place at the end of the game. So the Pacers were able to beat the Bucks in overtime, and things were getting really heated on the court. And you could see videos. There was a lot of videos, and we'll show this one here specifically. But there was a lot of videos of Tyrese Halliburton's dad really just being extra, I guess is the best way to put it, during the course of the game. And then at the end of the game, getting in Giannis's face.
And I think we need to add the context to the video, which is that Giannis is standing in the paint under the not under the basket, but in the paint near the basket. And then Tyrese Halliburton's dad just walks onto the court and beelines it straight to Giannis and starts getting into Giannis's face
with the
and
towel.
And then we see this reaction. But I mean, that was 100% instigated by Tyrese Halliburton's dad.
No doubt.
And Tyrese said after the game that he's going to have a conversation with his dad about that his dad was not in the right whatsoever. Tyrese handled that perfectly, but what a weird just way for his dad to handle that whole situation.
And Giannis was spectacular too, not only in his response there, but his response to the media as well. he's lucky, Halliburton's dad, that it wasn't somebody who had more of a mean streak in him,
Yeah.
because he could have been flattened by a guy who's what, 6'11" and 240
Giannis
pounds.
is a big dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what is going on with
Well-
some parents where we see where they just really, even at their grown age, and their children are in the NBA grown up too. And this is
Mhm.
the only sport that we're seeing this happening, but where the parents just really cross the line. It's almost like they're
Yeah.
trying to live vicariously through their child.
No doubt. And he did let his emotions get the best of him. The towel, by the way, had a picture of Tyrese Halliburton on it. So he's walking up to Giannis saying, "This is the way we blank and do it here. This is the way we blank and do it." And he was, like you said, Matthew, he went right for Giannis. It was a weird thing. And the Halliburton family is from Wisconsin. The Bucks are kind of the team that John Halliburton and Tyrese Halliburton bonded over when Tyrese was a kid. So just a really interesting conclusion to that series.
But I thought Tyrese handled it really well
did,
afterwards. I mean, that was the best thing for him to say, is that he's going to have a conversation with his dad after that. But man, what a weird story it is just to
Yeah.
see it play out in that way, where his father was just overstepping,
Well,
literally overstepping.
and the sad thing is that was a huge win for the Pacers, right? They eliminate the Bucks.
And it
The-
takes away.
It's all anybody is talking about today is Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Nobody's talking about the fact that the Pacers knocked the Bucks out of the playoffs and they advance.
Exactly. Yeah. So you even steal your son's spotlight.
Right.
I also just think it was sad to, like you said, watch the Bucks era kind of end, because Chris Middleton's done. Damian Lillard now with the injury probably done too. And I know he was post championship, but they brought him in to try to extend the window. So it's just that window dies, and Giannis having to just eat it in the press conference in some way, but also talk about how bothered he was by the Pacers' attitude. At the same time, there's reports from the Pacers. Miles Turner, their center, is saying that like throughout the series, Bucks players kept making comments of like, "Do you guys really think you're going to beat us? We're champions. Like, dream on." And that kind of mindset, is what gets you. It would make you lose after winning one championship. There's that killer mindset that got you through that playoff didn't continue and carry, and you thought it was kind of given to you because you already had a ring. And to see both sides of it, the good and the bad, the pros and the cons on the Bucks side, it's a huge bummer. Doc Rivers clearly just doesn't have it with this roster or this era of the NBA anymore. And this is one of those things you got to spread everything to the four corners. Doc Rivers shouldn't be the head coach of this team. They got to do everything they can to keep Giannis happy, because ESPN heads are already putting him on the Lakers. A lot of work to be done in Milwaukee.
I think
It's a bummer that it
the
ends
one
that way.
team that has and there's a great piece about this in The Athletic, the one team that really appears to have the cachet to go out and get Giannis from Milwaukee is the Houston Rockets. They've got multiple draft choices. They've got talent. They've got cap room, and they have the need. If Phoenix was planning on sending Durant to Houston, I'll bet they're bummed out now, because the window is closed, like you said, on the Milwaukee Bucks iteration as they are with Giannis. And I would think that he'll probably wind up. I don't know if he likes the East Coast. The Brooklyn Nets also have what it would take to go get him from a draft pick compensation, player compensation, financial compensation standpoint, cap room. But I would think that you're probably looking at either of those two teams, Houston or the Nets. I don't think that the Lakers can have Luka, LeBron, and Giannis. I don't think that financially they can do that.
They shouldn't be able to in today's day and age. It was just a ridiculous game from Giannis. 30, 20, and 15, or 13, excuse me, with the assists in the loss. But it is kind of insane that the most indelible moment from that series is him getting beat off the dribble in that last play. The fact that he doesn't move his feet just a little bit more, like he's done thousands of times to contest and force that miss, kind of insane. But it shows you great players can dominate in the NBA. But when you're talking about a guy who has had to put a team on his back for 9 months, sometimes there's just not enough juice for that final play.
Right. Yeah. It's when you have to put your team on the back, at some point the back gets sore.
It does.
Hello.
A week back.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Brooke.
I just did it
Appreciate
for you
that.
that one time.
Yeah.
And We have to get into Bill Belichick.
This is important. This
is important. We've been
news-
following this story closely. Okay.
Breaking news. News you need to know.
By the way, Brooke, I
Yes.
don't know if it's bothering you. David Harbour and Jason Bateman's new show called DTF St. Louis.
That's what it. Yeah.
Which is about a love triangle that led to a murder. Was not shot in St. Louis. That'll be going to HBO later on this fall, I think.
All right. We'll watch
that
it.
was the name of the show. Yeah. It's in St. Louis and it's not being shot here.
I think we need to do a better job of building up our film industry in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, we do. If you're
Yeah.
gonna have stories based on here,
You might as well have it based here.
It
yeah.
has nothing to do with the film industry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Atlanta's burgeoning film industry isn't what got a bunch of people there.
Yeah. What's it called? Georgia.
Georgia.
When you see all these movies that are made in
Oh, they're
Georgia.
like shooting a bunch of stuff in Georgia.
yeah,
Like a ton
and
of
they have
stuff.
for years. They welcome the money that comes from having films made in.
That's what I'm
Georgia.
saying.
Yeah.
Why not get some of that from Missouri?
Think we should. I'm with you 100%.
We need to start campaigning that.
Yep.
Shoot your movies here.
Yeah. So, who could we get? I guess we could get Sterling K. Brown to
Yes.
say, "Hey, let's do something here." Does
Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer? Does John Goodman still do stuff, or is he retired?
Are you kidding me? John Goodman? You mean Eli Gemstone from HBO's Killer Righteous Gemstones?
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
okay.
John Goodman's still out there.
Okay, good.
He's still out there, out and
He's
about.
fantastic in that show.
We
Yeah.
need to bring him back to Missouri.
I'm with you.
Now it's time to get into the Bill Belichick report because something every single day now is coming out. So, a new TMZ report shares that CBS higher ups had to get involved to salvage the Bill Belichick Sunday morning interview. And we played that the other day and how weird that was
Mhm.
with how much Jordan Hudson was interrupting it due to interruptions and delays caused by the coach's 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. Hudson reportedly stormed out of the interview for 30 minutes and expected Belichick to follow. The interview quickly ended after the tension finally de-escalated. The report also shares that Bill Belichick's employer UNC, they are concerned over her influence on the legendary coach. This just keeps getting worse and worse
And
and,
weirder.
worse. It's weird. Well, because here's the thing is he could do that interview. First of all, why did you even sign up for the interview in the first
Mhm.
place? I understand you're promoting a book. People are going to ask you then every single question about your life. If
Yeah.
you weren't comfortable with talking about it, then don't do interviews. Don't sign yourself up for interviews, right?
Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
And then maybe don't bring your crazy little girlfriend around.
Well, he doesn't know she's crazy. I think she
I feel like
might-
we're only like, I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg of what
you-
we're seeing with her.
You
That's
always know they're crazy.
she's crazy.
But he's 73. Don't you think there could be something going on upstairs with him? He got a lot of miles on him. I don't know.
we talked about elder abuse
Uh-huh.
that maybe is going on here. I think that she caught him in a really vulnerable time. We talked about this the other day. Caught him in a very vulnerable time, had that really bad exit with the Patriots and things did not go well. He probably felt pretty low.
Mhm.
And then this 24-year-old thing, which she was younger when they met,
Yeah.
but this 24-year-old thing comes around and gives him attention, props him back up. And so maybe he feels like he needs her to feel good about himself
Right.
and lost trust in a lot of people, but he trusts her.
Mhm.
In this situation, though, it just looks weird. And maybe he thought, too, he would look cool having this super young girlfriend, that he could pull this 20-something-year-old girl. But he looks like he's being controlled
Yeah.
by her.
A couple of things. Number one, since Robert Kraft's wife passed away, he's consistently had a very young girlfriend. So that might have been,
Just a thing.
competitive thing with
Yeah.
Kraft. And
He's like, I can go
yeah.
younger than you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the other part of this is that leads me to believe that there might be something amiss with Belichick medically, is that he allowed her to answer football questions. She would, during the interview, according to TMZ, she would interrupt football
Randy
questions.
cannot get past this point. We brought this up on Monday.
Yeah.
When we originally talked about this. Randy cannot get past the point that Belichick let her answer football questions.
Does it make
And that's-
sense to you?
To
Come
your
on.
point, I would expect him to get offended if she tried to answer a lacrosse question.
Yeah, right.
Let alone a football question.
Or how did you meet? Even that. But once
But
we
that
get
made
to
it
football,
weirder is that she dismiss that question. Is she, I thought that she had some background in marketing and PR. Am I just making this up in my head? Or I thought I saw something that she supposedly has some background in marketing. And doesn't she know that by interrupting, doing all that kind of stuff takes away and it will cause more people to speculate? How can you be shocked that the media would be spinning this narrative, as she liked to put out there, this narrative of all this stuff going on, when you're the one who's making it weird and bringing more attention to it?
Yeah, she is now a star. She's a big name, right? She's a social media influencer. And that's, I would guess, what the ultimate goal of Jordan Hudson is to become a star. I don't know if it's to be in love with Bill Belichick as much as it is to get her name known nationally and maybe even internationally at some point.
Whether it's good press or bad press, that's what she's going on.
There's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
She just looks absolutely nuts at this point, though. She looks like a crazy person.
She does, but that's okay. Hey, I checked her Instagram because you sent the Instagram post last night, right? So I looked at her Instagram, and we got to think about this. She was like a high school cheerleader 5 years ago.
That's so weird,
isn't it?
That's so weird.
Yeah. But there's photos of her there.
Not too long ago. Yeah, she was a cheerleader in high school. So that's what makes all of this just really strange. But it looks like she's just controlling everything that Bill Belichick does, which seems to go completely against who we thought we knew him as a person. And maybe he's just maybe he was trying to prove people that he's not this controlling, mean person.
Oh, that might be.
And it's just really going the other way now.
A video popped up on when I was scrolling yesterday, and it was Rob Gronkowski talking about how he got in trouble with the Patriots 5 minutes after getting drafted because even though it was the second round, he was in the green room. So he was at the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So he and his entire family are up on the stadium, like huddling and like chanting. And then they draft him, and like the TV goes to commercial, and it comes on NFL Network, and he's got a helmet on with one of the hosts doing like a blocking drill, and like they're smacking helmets and laughing. And the look that Belichick has on his face of like, I just drafted the dumbest human being I've ever had to deal with. And for just to see his reaction to a 21-year-old enjoying life, and to now see him doing what he's doing now, it was just, man, a lot of things have changed in the last decade. Like,
a lot.
15 years ago, he wouldn't have put up with this. One of the posts that somebody posted that was funny is that she posted on her Instagram, lobster dinner, and it was a picture of like
bananas,
cut up strawberries shaped like a lobster. And Bill's in the background of the photo, just staring down at his plate.
Don't you think though that if we go back to that interview, and when they brought up Instagram, because the interviewer asked him about the Instagram photos,
called it
Instaface, and the interviewer asked him about the photos. It was like Bill was confused how people knew about those photos. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Because he was like he looked confused and was insinuating that he doesn't have control of his Instagram.
Yes, he did not think those photos were like worldwide public.
You could tell.
Yeah,
you could tell that
100%.
you could tell if you go back and watch that interview when they asked him about the Instagram photos of him and Jordan, where he's a fisherman and she's a mermaid. He looks confused how people know about that photo.
Very confused.
He looks legitimately like, how do you know about that?
This is why I'm wondering if he's losing it, actually, Randy, because
Yeah.
another famous moment from the Patriots. Randy Moss goes into his office and says, Coach, we have a fundraiser, a Halloween party coming up this weekend. None of the players wanted to even ask you if you'd go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to come in here and say, I think it would be great for this charity if you showed up. And what does Bill Belichick do? He shows up in a pirate outfit with his girlfriend at the time, who was...
I remember that.
She was very good looking, but she was like 20 years younger than him. She shows up in a pirate outfit to a event that then goes gangbusters because it's Bill Belichick showing personality. And so again, I'm wondering, 15 years ago, Belichick would have done that and been aware of what was happening. And now he does it, and he gets caught almost with his proverbial pants down when he's asked about it publicly later. This is not 15 years ago, Bill. Something's slipping.
Yep.
He is 73. He is 73 years old. So that is our daily at this point. Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson check-in because
Bill
I mean
Belichick
it's
insider right here.
yeah, because we can't get enough of whatever this weirdness is that is going on. And it's very strange.
If you also want some weirdness, in the very near future, we're sincerely hoping that we can have a relatively new mother participate in a taco eating contest.
Is that coming up soon?
June
Did you
1st.
guys figure out anything
June
while I was
1st.
gone yesterday with it? Or no? Okay.
I think it's going to happen.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. All right. I think I should be prepared for this. There won't be June 1st. So baby will be out.
Yep.
So then I can participate in this.
Yeah. It's the celebrating 35 years of Hot Shots, and Rizzuto is going to be there. Rafe is going to be there, and Sports Hub STL is going to be there. As a matter of fact, Sports Hub STL postgame shows are brought to you in part by Hot Shots, who invite you to come out to their St. Charles location on Sunday, June 1st to celebrate that 35th anniversary. The fun starts at noon. You're going to have a parking lot party featuring the Budweiser Clydesdales. Prizes are going to be given away all day. There's a darts tournament at noon, a bags tournament, or if you like to call it cornhole, you can call it that. That's at 2, plus a chance to win Hot Shots tacos for a year. All you have to do is win the taco eating contest. Congratulations to Hot Shots on 35 years. Hot Shots, St. Louis home for all the games all the time since 1990. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com.
I need you guys to weigh in on one more topic before we go, because we are on a podcast, and so right now we have to talk about the topic that every podcast is talking about.
Okay.
All right. Wilson, I'm glad you don't have a mic. Don't you
By
dare. Don't you dare step on it like that.
I feel like you should be in the bubble for that scolding so that people could have witnessed that because Wilson's still a mystery.
Unbelievable.
So nobody knows what Wilson. By the way, Wilson's wearing a Padres hat today. And do you still have your Astros stuff too? You're an enigma, Wilson. You're an enigma.
Uh-oh. What's wrong, Matthew?
It's just
Because
he Padres hat.
He has a Houston, Texas jacket, and then he has a Padres hat, and then a Cubs water bottle.
Yeah.
Are
Likes
you
everybody.
now, Wilson? I gotta ask Wilson one question.
Likes
Are
everybody.
you consistent?
I know. I just have never met anybody. He roots for 42. Was it 42 teams? Is what 38
Wow.
teams? Have you
I
ever
try
met
to be-
anybody like that
I
before?
I
Wow.
try to be
You see?
nonviolent. I try to be nonviolent.
You're nonviolent.
You can't like 38 teams, first of all. Wilson also shows up in a lot of branded F1 gear, which is kind of loud, but I'm okay with that.
Oh
So
my
I have to
God.
ask Wilson, do you only root for one F1 team? Okay, so you root for 38 sports teams without any, and you cross the lines. Cubs, I mean, we're in St. Louis, you got a Cubs water bottle, and you cross all kinds of lines. You like multiple teams in Texas from different Texas cities. Bad crap crazy. You like Texas Tech and UT. Insane.
Hope you don't like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The other,
thank
by the
you.
way, the other UT.
The other UT, yeah.
Not the first
The
UT,
one,
which
yeah,
is Tennessee.
exactly. But you will not root for a second
It was
F1
founded
team,
first.
correct? That's where you draw the line. All right. This makes no sense. I'm angry and forgot what I was going to talk about.
We were going to
The-
talk about what they're
yes,
talking
the
about on
gorillas.
every podcast.
Team 100 humans or team 1 silverback gorilla. Where are you sitting in this debate?
So you've heard about this, right, Randy?
Please
Yeah,
tell me
yeah,
you've heard
yeah.
about this.
Okay.
Okay, good. Randy
So-
is so online that he's even got this.
It's really interesting because I need to know weapons are not involved, correct?
Hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat with one silverback gorilla, 100 men. Who are the people that you're sacrificing first to wear down this gorilla is my question.
I mean, it's a meat shield. I mean,
Or is
you
it just
throw-
like
you're-
all
yeah.
at once,
Yeah,
just
you're-
piling on
you're
this
kinda-
gorilla?
You're kind of Russian World War II generaling this thing.
I think the gorilla wins.
The
And I
suggestion.
don't know if that's the popular
Yeah.
opinion, but I think like a gorilla could take one person and then just wipe out a big group of people with it.
I like the visual there, Brooke.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, or it could take two people and just and
You're
then
right.
just like
I
take
think-
out a big and then just keep going and then
As-
just flip guys around.
As with anything, I think most people would argue right now, if I gave you the argument, you have a week to chase down a deer and kill it. Are you going to be able to do that? Common sense says no. History of humankind says that's exactly how we got here, because we are not strong like a lot of animals. We don't have super senses in a lot of ways, but we have one thing that animals don't have, which is endurance. That's the one thing that humans have greater than almost every other animal on the planet. And so, yeah, 40, 50 people are dying, but the other 50 humans are taking that gorilla out.
I don't think so. I think the gorilla could wipe people out. Maybe that's just me, and I've seen, Planet of the Apes and how that went, and they're very strong. Okay.
Those are also more intelligent gorillas.
I know, but I'm telling you,
Or
like,
apes.
I'm assuming this is an angry gorilla that in some way would be somewhat prepared. Like, it's angry going into the situation. There's like 100 men coming at it. And we don't know what type of men. These could be, there could be like some short guys in there that aren't going to really help anything. And maybe those are the ones who are wiped out first.
106 foot, 200 pound men.
Let's go with 100 NFL offensive linemen.
That too. They're definitely winning because I don't care what anybody says. As soon as you are able to like control the limbs, the eyes and things are still vulnerable. So
right.
Like you're still taking it out that way. Like it's going to, again, 40 or 50 of the 100 are dying, but I still think in the end, there are more humans standing than silverback gorillas.
They're strong though. They're really strong.
They can rip off your arm without even trying.
Strong is
literally rip off your arm.
I think that there's still the opportunity there.
So a silverback gorilla is significantly stronger than a human. It estimates that they suggest they are 4 to 9 times stronger than even the strongest human, with some estimates even reaching 10 times stronger.
But then you got 100 people.
The largest silverback gorilla is 600 pounds. They average over 400.
So a silverback gorilla can lift and throw up to 1,796 pounds. That's a very specific number. How do they know that? Did they only just give him that amount? And they're like, let's see if you can toss this big boy. And he did. While a well-trained human can only lift up to 881 pounds.
That's not that big of a difference. For if I have 100 humans, that wasn't that big of a pound difference in what we're throwing.
I've also seen the different AI models of what this. Yes, I've watced the AI models of what this looked like because I wanted to see, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I feel like 100 men. It would have to be a bunch of just really, really intensely strong humans.
Yeah, with a lot of endurance. Yep.
Because the silverback gorilla, I'm telling you guys, I feel like nobody has taken the angle I have of like if he's smart enough and he knows that this is about survival for himself, he figures that out, that he will take one of those humans and just start wiping them out and with each other. Like,
if we bring in the logic, if we bring like that level of logic in, then the fight's not happening because as soon as a gorilla sees 100 people, it's never going to try it.
Yeah. Do you remember that documentary? It was like a Christmas time documentary.
Planet of the Apes?
Oh. No, it was like when the guy, the Yukon Cornelius guy, he was able to get the Bumble to succumb, and he took the Bumble's teeth out.
Silver and gold.
There you go.
Silver and gold.
Oh my God.
So so he was able to get which I assume is kind of like a silverback, right? The Bumble, and the Bumble just ultimately got trained to put the tip topper on the Christmas tree.
Oh my God.
Kids movies incredibly well, by the way. Most people would just call him the Indomitable Snowman. You're over here calling him the Bumble, which is the term that Yukon Cornelius uses. You also did that earlier today. You made a reference to a kids movie, and everyone else has a very simplified way to phrase it, and you phrased it different. I can't remember what it was. It was with John Denton. You made a reference to a kids movie, and I'm blanking on what it is now. Oh, damn it.
Oh, if you remember in the chat line.
It was because you said something. And it was everyone else says it in a completely different way. It was when you mentioned the Monstars. Everybody else, when they make that reference, refers to them as the Monstars, but you referred to them as
the Nerdlucks.
The fact that you remember correctly the actual name of the Nerdlucks when everybody else makes that reference in sports radio to it looks like he got his powers taken away. 99% of times they will say the Monstars.
Really?
You locked in on that one, and I was impressed.
Oh, well, thank you.
Incredible. John Gruden, he tweeted out literally 32 minutes ago, I'm rooting for the gorilla. You see, I kind of understand it. I wouldn't want to see an animal being. I cannot watch a movie or a show where an animal gets hurt.
Okay, so
I cannot. Like literally the other day, David and I were watching The Last of Us season 2, which
nope,
devastating. But there's a horse. So I'm not giving anything away, but there's a horse that's involved in a scene. I said, David, if this horse gets killed, I'm not watching this show anymore. And he was like, "But really?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm not watching this show anymore if this horse gets killed," which is ironic if you watch the show because a lot of people get killed. But I can't watch an animal get killed. And I don't, not that I want to see a human get killed, but it's just something about, I just want to see an animal.
We
get
are more
killed.
outraged by animals, no doubt about it. When I was in grade school, they made all of us watch a movie called Old Yeller. And it was about a dog that
Yes.
died at the end.
Yeah. Well,
Nice looking yellow lab.
wait, what is the movie that was like a horror movie with a dog that was
Cujo?
really bad? Cujo. Is that what
Uh-huh.
it was? Yeah.
Yeah,
At
that's
first I
same
thought
thing.
Old Yeller was Cujo, and that's just how my brain's working currently.
Ellipsis 150. Me too, Brooke. If I'm watching and the person dies, whatever. But if the dog dies, absolutely not.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I have a full blown
you.
meltdown
No, that's
if
good.
I see that.
Good. Especially now, right? Are you emotional now these days?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay,
it's a
good.
big
So,
hormonal
our
change.
final answer: Brooke says the gorilla wins. Randy says the humans win.
Humans win.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if we get knives.
You see, Wilson, I like that we're on the same page at least about this.
That's who
but-
you want to be on the same team with.
He's got 38 teams he's rooting for.
Samuel
You're
Howe,
throwing
100
flies.
kindergartners versus Rockio.
100 kindergartners.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting through 40 or 50 like the
Are we
gorilla.
talking about
Okay,
like
but
a
it's the-
fight?
It's the second 50 that, yes, the ankle biting 50. It's that second ankle biting 50 that kind of gets at me.
They will have way more energy than you too,
But
because
like,
that youth energy is next
100%
level.
stamina's getting me. But much like the gorilla, I'm grabbing the first child and using him as a propeller against the first
You
few
see,
waves.
people are going
Yep,
to take
same
my
thing.
fighting technique now. People are going to
Yep.
take my fighting
It
technique.
just happened. Yeah. Can't swing a dead cat around here without it.
They attacked me. I don't know
That's
how
the
I
thing.
need the
That's
one
a-
on fault here.
That's a saying.
That's a saying.
Yeah, you can't swing it. That's a Rammer saying, but it's
Oh,
okay.
but you can look it up on the interwebs. You can't swing a dead cat around. here. You
Don't
can't.
look that up.
I don't
on
know if
the
I want to
interwebs.
look that up on
Yeah,
the
don't do
internet,
that.
Randy.
Okay. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page yet, you need to, and you need to like this video because it's really fun, isn't it?
I don't like that pause
Yeah,
you
go-
just had after that.
Go to sportshubstl.com and sign up for the Hub newsletter sent to your inbox twice a week. And anytime St. Louis sports news breaks, we've got all kinds of great content there, including Bernie Miklasz. And you'll have the opportunity to read his fabulous work. And you'll be the first to know about Sports Hub STL events and merchandise and get exclusive content and prize opportunities and more. And while you're on the site, check out all the St. Louis sports content, including game recaps, programming highlights, sports news and opinion, gambling tips, and more. It's all on the website at sportshubstl.com. Cardinals getting underway. In about 10 minutes, you'll be able to head on over and watch that. And don't forget, we have Cardinals Cards Up 365 after the game. And then tonight, second game of the doubleheader, we'll have a post game after that. And don't forget to peak at the right time, 8:30 tonight for the Blues and the Jets. And you can check out Blues Hub right after that here on Sports Hub STL. Kind of a big day in St. Louis, and we're here for you all day long on Sports Hub STL.
all day long.
Brooke, did you have fun today?
I did.
That's good to hear. Matthew, great work as always. Thank you.
I had a lot more fun than those first 40 or 50 humans.
Oh, no, don't about it. That's the great Matthew Rockio. He is our audio and video engineer. We thank you for being a part of the show and being a part of the content here. And we want you to have a great day. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 10:02. So long, everyone.